Hey, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. So don't normally go so late at night, but you know what? It's been a long day. It's kind of happy hour for me right now, and it's been a good day. And I've got some new members in my mentorship. Those of you that just got here, I've been investing in real estate for 42 years. I'm 61 years old, been investing since I was 19. You're not going to find a lot of people with 42 years experience at my age. And so it's just kind of a cool thing that I got educated so early and been doing this so long and still have the cognizance to explain how to do it to other people. So anyways, let me know that you guys hear me loud and clear here. I think the channel's working well tonight. It's funny, I'm supposed to have a fiber line in here before long. I've got 3 different services here, and none of them are great. I even got Tesla or whatever, Starlink. Sometimes it's actually better than the cable companies, which is sad to say. But I want to talk about over 40 investing. When you're 30, 40, 50 years old, some people it dawns on a little later than others that you ain't got enough. It doesn't take much to calculate and figure out that, if you've saved, let's just say you've 20 grand or you saved 100 grand or whatever you've saved at, 30, 40 or 50, you can do the math and go, gee, I've worked 20 years, I've saved, and all I got to show for it is I got a house, maybe half paid for, and maybe I got 100 grand in the bank, or maybe you don't even have that. A lot of people don't have that, and it's sad to say. And so that's what I want to talk about is whatever level you're at, doesn't matter. What's cool is that real estate can elevate your finances substantially. But what you don't want to do is, be parted with your money by some foolish person that thinks they know what they're doing. And believe me, some people throw in with a relative that think they know what they're doing with money and piss it away, and or there's guys that pitch that they have expertise, and guys like me that pitch that they have expertise. I do have expertise, and I have a record to prove it. I have a historical record, but a lot of people will throw in and throw money at people that can't back up what they say. That don't have a history. They'll say, I've done over 500 deals. Well, they might have lost their ass on those 500 deals. And most of them have or haven't made peanuts. And so what do? Those that can't do, teach. Happens all the time. Hey, Russ, I'm glad you're here, buddy. And Barry as well. Barry, 104 years old and have been a real estate investor for 86 years. So you started when you're 20. Oh, I started before you, Barry. I'm sorry. Anyways, Russ, glad you're here. Imagine your kids are damn near to bed right now. So look, Russ is actually in the class, and Barry is a longtime viewer. Some comedy relief here. But it's just the coolest thing. The mentorship has been a wonderful thing. And here, by the way, if you don't know, I've got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. It was shortly after I brought out the book that people asked me to mentor. I reluctantly did so, but it's actually been quite rewarding, and it's kind of led to me finding what I want to kind of do to make my legacy, teaching other people what I do. And it's been really cool because I've seen a lot of people elevate their income significantly. Guys that are 30, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old now, that have made over $1 million, some of them, and or just even a few hundred or $500,000. And they've, whether it's 100 grand or 500,000, all these guys have realized more cash in their hands than they've been able to save in the last 20 years working a job or last 30 years working a job. And so that's kind of cool, There's a lot of fake gurus out there. I'm not a fan of Grant Cardone or Chris Crone. They make a big to-do over a next to nothing return. Grant's got himself in several lawsuits now. And what's also sad about Grant, to be quite honest, or even sad, is that you can kind of, thieves flock together, right? You've heard that, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Well, I haven't seen Grant pushing for unaccredited investors lately, because I think it's gotten them in some lawsuits. But what I have seen is I've seen a lot of what I would consider fake gurus, people that don't have much experience, trying to get buying influence from Grant, trying to get some of those gullible followers that Grant has. Grant has a lot of gullible, Uncle G, hey, Uncle G, and guys that are just juvenile. And they want some of that. They want some of those dummies. And so you'll see a number of guys. Ryan Pineda is somebody that's been fawning all over Grant Cardone, which I think is pretty silly. Listen, Ryan Pineda, I think he's a nice guy, right? And he's a ball player. And the idea that he's going to tell people that he knows what he's doing as an investor is a joke to me. And he claims he's done 500 deals. I don't believe a bit of that. These guys will say, I've done over 500 deals. And then they say, we. Well, how did you go from I to we, right? Are you counting other people's deals? I mean, are you counting, like, a guy makes $1,000 on a deal? Do you count that as a deal? I mean, it's just pathetic. I don't like it, and I don't mind calling people out on it. And fortunately, I have a record that I'm proud to stand on, and I got nothing to fear. In fact, half the time when you see me talking about deals that I've made, I underplay them. In other words, I'll say I made $1 million. I probably made $1.5 million. Or if I say I made $100,000, I probably made 150. Because I never want to be caught in a lie, or whether accidentally or not. Hey, Richard Smith, glad you're in here, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while either. The family that bird dogs together stays together. You heard that? That's from my oldest subscriber, 104-year-old Barry. So look, what do you guys want to talk about? By the way, you can call in on this number right here, and we can talk about anything. I had a nice chat here with my good buddy Mark the other day, and I think, it's a cool thing, this vehicle that we have, with YouTube and all, even though I've been shadow banned for years here by them. You're not really allowed to speak your mind. So they give you the shot across the bow, threatening to crush your channel if you speak out, and then continuing to turn the volume down on the people that might find you, unfortunately. That's why I have probably the slowest growing channel, but I have some of the best and brightest people following me, I'll say that. Mark is cool. He's a good friend, and he likes good wine, and we also actually go fishing once a year together. He fishes all the time, but we'll take what we call we go fly fishing, and it's glamour fishing. It's a cool thing. We'll stay at in fact, unfortunately, who was it? Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel bought the lodge that we usually stay at, and it's not as good as it was, but it's a gorgeous property. And I'll tell you, kicking back, drinking wine, eating a steak, and you see an eagle fly by with, just a huge, rainbow trout in its grasp. It's a pretty cool thing to watch. But so, anyways, look, we can jump around, we can do anything. What do you guys want to do? As far as this is funny, I can empathize with guys that are 40 and 50 years old that are scared to invest. In as much as, I've been comfortable. It's funny. I've been comfortable really my whole life. Even when I was 19 years old, I kept my overhead low. And when I made $6, $7, $8 an hour, I still felt like I was on top of the world. I remember one of my, a boss that I had like 3 or 4 of my paychecks, and they're probably like $180 a piece or $160 a piece, and they were sitting on my dresser. I hadn't even cashed them yet. That was my form of savings, is I just didn't cash my checks. And my boss says, hey, would you cash those damn checks? Because he keeps feeling like he has money that he doesn't have. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have been cashing every one of them. But anyhow, I ended up going bankrupt eventually. He was a nice guy. But he fell on some problems. And what's funny is I ultimately came back and I bought the building that I learned my trade of how to build cabinets. I came back and bought that from the people that had foreclosed on them. So Russ, what do you got going? Are you putting the kids to bed right now? How about you, Barry? You got little ones or your kids grown? And you were trying to set me up with your mom. I'm a little concerned now that I know your age. Oh, wait, somebody calling in. I'll take the call. But, hey, guys, pile in here and, let's share. Let's talk tonight. All right. Hey, caller. Who do I got here?
Hey, this is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, where are you calling from?
California.
Oh, nice. What part?
SoCal, Riverside area.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't really know Riverside particularly. I used to go to Long Beach. I had a sister and a brother-in-law over there.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more inland than that.
Gotcha. So, what are you thinking about? Do you fall into this category under the title?
Yeah, man. For sure. I'm 41. I'm buying my second industrial building.
Oh, yeah.
And I already bought it. Went through escrow.
Nice.
And it closed. Putting in another collision shop, which I do for a living.
Okay, so you're
I'm thinking like
a body shop guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is a popular business. And you're a one man, not a one man show, but you're a one shop, right? Or do you have multiple shops, or are you working toward that?
No, yeah, I just bought my second location, which was a block down from where I'm at.
Oh, that's
my main location, just because I need the space.
Yeah, I'm kind of blown away how I've seen Caliber Collision grow and some of these other places. And it's a safe company. In fact, I get offers all the time to build a new building. They'll move in. They're a franchise. And anyways, I just there's so many cars on the road, and I say this all the time. Every time you see a car, it's heading to a garage. But yeah, the car business is something
right.
That intrigues me. I've actually bought and sold quite a few cars for us 20. But so here, okay, so you have owned one building. Do you own your second location, or do you rent the other?
I just bought the second location.
Oh, great. So
I own them both.
How many square feet does it take for a basic body shop, or what do you got?
Well, to be a decent sized body shop, you need about 10,000 square feet. I'm at my first location. I was at 5,500 square feet. We're doing about 300,000 a month.
Oh, nice.
And we just end up having a lot of cars out on the street, and you had people going through them, and it just became a liability issue. So I decided I need to pick something up and buy another building. Where I'm at in the Lake Elsinore area, it's really hot, man. The industrial is not even available. There's nothing around. So
and what city is that?
I was looking for about it.
Yeah, what city is that?
Lake Elsinore, California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Lake Elsinore. I haven't been there ever, but it's
in between Riverside and Temecula, or look, if you want to go even on a bigger spectrum, it's in between Los Angeles and San Diego.
I got you. Yeah, I should be more geographically inclined than I am, but I'm not.
No, it's all good, man. I'm a SoCal boy, but so I'm just kicking the numbers around, man. I'm spending a lot of money investing in this property. It rents for about $1.30 a square foot over here where I'm at.
And is it a buck? So I want to ask you about this. A lot of the body shops actually have pretty prime locations. They're almost as good as the locations you'd see like a used car lot on. Are you on a major thoroughfare?
I'm not, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I had to just settle for what I could get at where I'm at.
But you're still paying
it is across.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, $1.30, $1.30 a month is what we can get.
Yeah, see, in California, we'll say $1.30 a foot, meaning per month, where, like in other parts of the country, they'll take that number times 12, and that's what they'll use, and they mean annually. They'll say $24. What do you pay? They say $24 a foot. They mean $24 a foot a year, where you and I would say California, because I'm born in California too, I would say $2 a foot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so $1.20 a foot. Is that what you said? $1.20?
$1.30.
$1.30.
$1.30 a month.
I'm
Yeah.
still adjusting to that for for industrial. I would consider that like an industrial type property. Paying $1.30 a foot's kind of steep, unless it's, you know what I mean.
I know.
Yeah, but not so much
Yeah,
now. That's about
I
it.
do.
Yeah.
I do, and then that's my problem, my dilemma. If it doesn't work out and I overextended myself, I might have went in over my head. You know,
You may.
so that's
you
the
may have.
situation that I'm working with. You know, I know all the realtors in this area, all the industrial realtors that pretty much dominate the area, and they're saying that I can get that, but with the economy slowing down at the moment, I'm kind of second guessing my decision and thinking I might have stepped in a little higher than I probably should have, maybe waited a little bit longer, you know, but then on the flip side, I needed the space for my business. So, and just a little stressed with what's going to happen with the economy and the repairs. So,
sure. Well, look,
Go
is
ahead.
that in Riverside, California? You know, if you don't mind, I'll jump on LoopNet. We'll take a look at your area. Does that sound okay?
oh yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. So let's take
Yeah,
a
it is
look.
in Riverside.
Riverside?
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
Let me get my display going here. Here we go. All right. So, okay, here's Riverside, California. Let's go take a look at, would you consider what you got industrial? It's not retail, is it?
No, it's industrial.
Okay, so let's take a look at industrial property. We're in Riverside, California. And there's a bit there. It looks like there's 30, 40.
The price has jumped substantially within the last 6 months. And I know it's probably a little bit of a bubble, so, you know, and with the interest rates that I'm in at, I might have over leveraged myself, but as long as I can make the business work, I should be okay and write it out and refinance, but I probably did overpay.
Okay, so look, here's a place, 64 or 80 square feet, it's 15.8, so, you know, that's over $2 a foot. That's for, just looks like an industrial building, metal building. Looks like it might be 18-foot ceilings.
Mine's a tilt-up. It's not a metal building.
Actually, this one isn't
It
either.
carries
This
a
one's
little bit
actually,
more.
looks like it's block or brick. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you know, the thing is, whether it's concrete tilt-up or steel, as long as it's insulated, it's going to get about the same money.
Sure.
You know, here's one. It says Jerupa Avenue. If you know where that is, it's $800,000 for. I mean that's $300 and something a foot. I mean, this is like flex. You know what I mean? It looks like it's office too. Now here's a 53,000 square foot industrial building, but again, it's still $200 a foot. It's 11.5 million. So it doesn't sound
Right.
like you did so bad. Here's a 16,000 square foot building on Irving Street. It's $3 million. I mean, see, I wouldn't pay for that where I'm at. But I mean,
Sure.
this is like retail type. You know, people pay $2 a foot for retail. Pay more than that for in some areas. Now here's one, $300 a foot. And now, granted, these are good looking. This is, for those of you guys watching, this is a concrete tilt-up building here, and this is a good looking building. Ceiling heights are moderately high. Looks like maybe 16,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's not where I'm at. I'm at 5,500 square feet. Kind of looks similar to that.
And you've got
You roll doors.
you got three-phase in there and all that sort of good stuff.
Oh yeah, it's loaded up. The last shop was the last people that were in there were building sand rails and stuff. So it's got 320 ready for welders all over the place,
Gotcha.
which I got lucky on.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what else we got here. Now there's a half acre for $300,000. I mean, yeah. Let's see. I could narrow this down a little bit, maybe somehow.
If you wanted to get a little closer to my market, I could kind of shoot you where I'm at. It's
Sure.
a little further south.
Are you looking at
If
what
you
I'm
wanna-
looking at? Are you seeing my screen?
I actually am. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I can see what you're looking at. Yeah, you're more up in the Riverside area,
Okay.
which is a little bit more expensive than where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Okay. We can draw it.
A little bit further south. A little bit further south of 215. Oh, I'm sorry, on the 15. Just south of Corona.
All right.
And there's going to be a lake there. Hence the name.
Okay, I see Rancho Cucamonga. Are you near that? Or should I see Lake Elsinore?
You see Corona right in the middle of the map, right behind your head? We're a little bit further south than that.
Right up here.
And you're on LoopNet?
I'm on LoopNet. So I see Fontana, Kaiser.
It's going to be down where your chest is if you look at the screen.
Oh, okay. Let's get this above my. Oh, I see. Is that there's
So
like?
you want to go a little further south.
Okay. I see Cajon.
Yeah, keep going.
Well,
You
past
see
Cajon.
Lake Matthews.
Yeah, I did see Lake Matthews.
There's Lake Elsinore right by. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit further down.
Huh.
South.
Okay. Oh wow! Now
You're going north again, but
I thought. Okay. Oh, you're right. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Here's Lake Matthews. Between Lake Matthews and Lake Elsinore?
Lake Elsinore is where I'm at.
Okay.
My man. Right off the 15. Keep going.
You see, I see.
Right where the 215 is.
Wildemar.
There you go, right there.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and circle from Meadowbrook to Aberhill, down to Whittemore, La Cresta, Murrieta, Greer Ranch, and that's probably pretty good swath.
There's just not much there, man. I mean, I've been looking for the last 3 years.
Okay. So let's take a look at what we got here. Make double sure. Okay, that's industrial. I'm just going to leave it to industrial.
Probably see the listing that I bought is probably still going to be up on LoopNet, which is funny.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, so yeah, there's Lake Elsinore, $4 million for 16,000 square feet. Maybe there's Central Avenue, 786,000, but it's
little cheaper than Riverside, a little bit, but not much. But
not terrible difference, is there?
The point, the reason for calling is buying it at this price and trying to rent it with the rates that I got it at. It's like a break even, if best, you know.
Right. What did you have to put down? 20 or 25%? You know,
I did 20.
And did you just close this like just now? I mean, did you lock in a rate better than 7, or where are you at?
No, I'm at 6.25. I closed it last week. To be honest with you, I did an SBA.
Oh, okay.
25.
And how long have you had that rate locked in? That's a pretty good rate by today's standard.
I have it locked in for 10 years, and I can refi within 5.
I see.
But I have to pay a early buy down fee or whatever of like 1%, which isn't bad. It was either that or renting it.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's this new buy down for how many years?
It's a 5.55, I believe.
I got you. See, you bought it basically to take it down a point. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So look, you've got. Here's what you do for you. Okay, this same area here. Instead of going to for sale, I'm going to go to for lease.
I know. You're going to kill me right now.
Yeah. Sorry.
But there's not available. There's not much available though.
Right. But let's take a look. This is weird. It's not showing me industrial. So let's go back to. Let's make sure we're talking about industrial. Space use. Okay, that's why. Narrows it down. So here's $16.80 a square foot a year, which is a little less, about $1.40 a foot. $1.40 a foot you could probably live with, to be honest. Now this is pretty low here. This is like, this is 40 cents a foot. I don't know why they're so cheap. Jeez. But it's a big building. Probably a lot of shared
I'd
space
never
areas.
even seen that.
Well, I mean, it's 39,000 square feet. So,
So Collier is where I'm pretty close to, within a couple blocks. So that's a good representative of
okay.
the 50, 60 square foot,
Okay, well,
74,
that's your
20.
$2. You know, that's your $2 a foot then. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's per year. So now you're back to. I mean, it's okay. You pay. Listen, I have like a 1% rule in general. That, in other words, if a property hits the 1% rule, and the 1% rule is this: if I can get 1% a month on what I paid for the building. So if you paid, whatever, if you paid 1.4 million, if you can get 14,000 a month, or if you can get a dollar.
I paid. I can give you the numbers, man. I paid 1.1, a little lower than that.
Okay.
You know, my nuts a month,
And-
like
and-
6,600 for this property.
And you got, I'm sorry, and I apologize, I got so many numbers. You got 5,500 feet roughly?
Yeah,
Okay, so you paid $2 a foot, right? Or no, that's $2 a foot.
a little less. It was like 190. Yeah.
Okay, 190 a foot. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you were one of my students, I would say don't buy it. You know what I mean? That would have been too much. Yeah, but it is what it is. And now you're talking about renting it. Why are you thinking about renting it? I thought you were going to occupy it.
No, I'm gonna occupy it. I was just thinking, worst case scenario, if the economy goes south, that I could rent it, at least cover the rent.
Hey,
I know I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I got 250. I got 250,000 into this just to get the building. So, is it a good return on my money? Obviously, probably not. If I had to go that route.
Right. Well, let's do a little math on here. You're getting, let's just say you paid $1.90 a foot, and it looks like let's do this 16.20 divided by 12. Okay, so the going rate for your property it looks like in your area, you said Collier, right? Actually, slightly less than Collier, but I don't want to torture you here, but let's just double check it anyways. Now, how about your other business?
That industrial building on Hunco is right down the street, but I know the bigger it gets, the cheaper it gets as well. So,
okay. So they're charging $1.
29.
Right. So this is $1.30 a foot for 7,420 square feet. I mean, the economies of scale. There's not too much difference there, unless there's some yard. Do you have a little bit of yard? Because I mean, I think you said you got a place.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you got the cars are secure behind a gate to a degree.
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. So look, $1.30 a foot. $1.30 a foot times your, would you say 5,500? How many square feet?
Yeah.
Okay, say times.
Yeah, 5,500. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So, according to this, that's going to get you $7,150 a month. How does that compare to your payment?
Pretty good. I would cash flow a G and pay down the principal and be able to walk away from it. But
does that include? Does that payment that you make, does that include taxes and insurance?
It does, but does not include the HOA, which is $300. So we would have to bump that down to $700.
Okay, so you got $6,150 covers your payment, and it covers your taxes and your insurance. So, because taxes aren't terrible in California, I got to say that's one thing I do like about California, other than the weather. The weather's awesome, but I mean, unless you can put somebody really good in your property. You want to take a look at your property? Can we look at your property? Are you comfortable? I don't. It doesn't matter if you're not. We don't have to take a look at it.
What wrong? Putting it up on the internet?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll jump on it on Google Earth if you want to.
We can do it. We can do it. Let's do it.
Sure.
I have no shame.
Yeah. What's your?
All right. So we're at 570 Central Avenue.
Lake Elsinore.
And that's going to be Lake Elsinore. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. 570 Suite C, Central Avenue.
Ah. Let's see. We got to be close here.
Lake Elsinore, California.
5700 Central Avenue. Suite C.
Put Suite C. Suite C. That might make a difference. You're yeah.
Well, the basic address ought to take us to a building, right?
570 Central Avenue, Suite C.
Oh, 570. I got 5700. My bad.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're right across the street from that Target. No, you're a little further east than where I'm at.
Yeah, I think I found you.
That'd be it, bud.
Yeah, that's it.
My other location is right on that storage unit.
Oh, really?
But that's the new man. I got a whole bunch of guys and they're rocking and rolling, getting it rocking and rolling.
Well,
there's my actual other location.
Which one?
Yeah. So, the other location.
Yeah, it's on the same. It's in this picture.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. So you see the big building on the corner. If you zoom in to the building on the right, you'll see a blue carport next to it. That's my other location.
Over here?
No, not that. That's Target. The same side of the street. So you see the big building where the intersection is. The blue, that'd be it. Yep, that's my other location.
Yeah, my problem is I'm dealing with a delay. Okay, you're over here. You give it 5 seconds.
No, but you got the arrow right on it, man.
Yeah. I had it earlier.
So yeah, we're
wow.
Right there, the second building. That's my first location that I bought in 2010
Nice.
for $700,000.
That's great. How many square feet you got there?
With the blue carport, that'd be your right there. Yep. So we're rocking and rolling. We did 300 out of that one last month, and I needed the space because they got the whole street filled up in front.
Nice.
And there you go, man. Well, that's my neighbor's yard. That's mine on the left.
Are you collision pros or no?
Yeah, that's me, man.
Yeah, good looking place, man. Congrats. Did well.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's nice.
Appreciate it.
Good looking place. Yeah, that's nice, man.
I killed it on that deal, man. I made a ton of money on that.
Well, see, here's
here's
the deal. You accumulate property while you're in business, and you get old, and then pretty soon, the property's is worth more sometimes than, in other words, you wouldn't be able to afford to pay the rent on your own place. You know what I mean? It can happen. I was just talking about this Sammy's camera, which I'm sure you're familiar with in California. I know Sammy. I haven't talked to him for a long time, but he's got a 4-story property in Beverly Hills, and if he had to rent that today, he doesn't make enough money out of that store to rent the place. So he's probably better off closing the store and renting the place. You know what I mean? But you try to keep busy. But yeah, so I mean.
So what I'm doing, I'm paying a lot more than probably what the rent's worth, just so I can get taxed at a lower rate, because I'd rather get taxed on the business side or the what would you call it? Help me out here. You know what I'm talking about? Not earned income. It's
passive income. You're talking about
passive income. There you go. Yeah. So I'm paying myself a hell of a lot of money through that building just to lower my tax burden. and
Right.
then I was able to purchase the one behind your head because I recently just got the Tesla account, so we're going to be exclusive for Tesla repairs in the area,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
so
That's really good.
I had to get the space, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually
thank
lost
you, man.
I lost a building to a company that's all they're doing is damn Tesla repairs. Body repairs. Uh, yeah, so that's neat. Yeah, so look, I've been self-employed and I've had cabinet shop and had a machine shop for a long time, and I mean, you know how it is when you're in the business you're in. You love machines. You love things that can do things that employees can do. And machines that you can rely on. People not so much or as much. You can.
Right.
Yeah, so it's nice the automation. In fact, nobody's better at automation than Tesla, to be honest. But which we could actually go look at a Tesla video. They're so amazing. Well, that's interesting. So you've seen how a Tesla's made? Have you seen how a Tesla truck is made?
No, I've gone through all their training that we need to be approved to do their repairs, and we've done all the ADOS classes to recalibrate the cameras, the self-driving and stuff. And if a front bumper needs to be replaced, what you need to do to recalibrate it to get it back up to standard. And honestly, man, it's just like printing money. So
Yeah.
with that all going down, I felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
I felt comfortable with buying that location.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the one behind me I've been trying to buy for the last 3-4 years. The guy just doesn't want to sell it because he doesn't want to have to go through a 1041 exchange right now. He doesn't want to deal with it. And the guy behind me that I bought the building I'm in, the first building I bought, he's worth a lot of money, man. And
Sure.
he doesn't need to sell or do anything he doesn't want to do. So.
Well, and you don't necessarily need his building either. You know what I mean? I mean, so yeah. Listen, you need to go get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, because you're in a unique position. You're self-employed. You own your time. You're making decent money. That is powerful. And if we do go into a downturn, doesn't matter. People are still going to have insurance. They're still going to get their cars repaired. You'll probably be the least impacted. Most people don't have body work done out of their pocket. It's usually done out of insurance. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you would be.
Yeah, you're right.
You would be a really good candidate because you're sharp, you're smart, you're making money. You shouldn't have probably bought that last building. Or let me put it this way: if you were in my mentorship, and this isn't me just trying to sell the mentorship, I'm just being matter of fact because this is what I do. It's a no-brainer that whatever you would have bought, you would have saved minimum 20% on. You know what I mean? So in other words, you would have saved $300 or $400 on whatever you bought, and so that's peanuts compared to what you pay to learn. But also, you find yourself in a new world because in my class, I mean, like Russ is in here. I don't know if he's still in here, but the guys that are in my class. I mean, I've got the best and brightest people. Like I say, I've been shadow banned by YouTube. I'm opinionated. I've spouted off about politics and things I don't like, and they've just cranked me down. And so the people that find me are lucky to find me. You know what I mean? It's silly. But
Yeah.
But the fact is, I know real estate and I know investing, and I've been very, very successful at it. And in fact, I'm going to do a quick plug for this. Don't go away, everybody. Take a look at this, and I'll be back in 29 seconds. So hang in there with me just a minute. What was your name again?
Kevin, sir.
All right, hang on one sec, Kevin. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. All right, I'm back. Anyways, so Kevin, and any of you guys watching, if you're self-employed, even if you don't make a lot of money, you own your schedule. This is one of the benefits I had. I had a cabinet shop. I was 19 years old when I started. I was young, right? I didn't charge near enough when I started, but people looked at me and they didn't know if they could trust me, so they would chance it because the price was low. And then after as I grew up and I started to develop a reputation of doing what I'd say I do, which I always did, pretty soon I could charge more than everybody else because I was so reliable. And, by the time 9 years, 8 months went by, I had over $1 million in real estate. I didn't need the damn business anymore. That's in 1980. That's like in 1989. I sold my company.
Wow.
I didn't need it anymore. I'd made a buddy of mine. I had a customer that was rude to me, and I was rude back. And I said, "Oh shit, maybe I've been doing this too long. I'm not nice to the customers."
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Yeah, once in a while, and then because you've been doing it. I was 9 years, 8 months, and I'd had it. I had a showroom, and the guy came in and pissed me off, and I said, "Fuck, just go." And anyways. So then a buddy of mine says, "Well, Tom, you still own this?" I said, "Yeah." "How about this?" "Yeah." "You own this?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Why are you still even doing this?" He was 15 years older than me, and I had more property than he did, and he was an investor.
Right.
And I said, "Well, you know what? Maybe I don't need it, And so I wasn't even thinking in the terms of selling my company. And it didn't even dawn on me that I could sell my business. I was just thinking I'd sell all the machines that I'd accumulated and rent the building out. And then a couple days later, I get a newspaper, and on the front cover of the newspaper, T.C. Williams. I'll never forget, T.C. Williams, nice guy, a business broker. I go, business broker? That's interesting. He sells businesses. So I called him up. He came over, and I said, "Listen, I'll sell my company. I'll sell it for $250,000. That's like $150 for the machines and $100,000 for me." And, I said, "I'll lease it at a reasonable rate. I'll keep the building." And I said, "Just bring me the first person that has $100,000, and then the other $150. I'll carry that note on the $150, but I don't want to secure it with the business because I never wanted to get the business back. I'll secure it with a piece of real estate." And so he called me up and said, "Hey, I got 3 people." I said, "Do all 3 of them have $100,000? He said, "Let me call you back." He calls me back. He goes, "I got 2 people." I said, "Okay." And I go, "And they got a piece of real estate, right, that they'll secure the other $150. He goes, "Let me call you back." He calls back. He goes, "I got 1 person." And so he brings them over. We make a deal. I sold my business 2 weeks after I thought about selling it, and man, never looked back. From that point on, I was a full-time investor. And 18 months later, they wanted me to take the business back. I said, "I don't want it." I said, but I secured the $150 that they owed me was secured by a $400,000 home, and they just paid me off early. I gave them a little bit of a break, and they paid me off. And
wow.
But even though I never made great money in my cabinet shop. I made a decent living, but in the first several years, I didn't make shit. I lost money. I was going upside down, but after then I started getting my groove, but it was the money that I was making on the real estate that was really making my life easier. And,
sure.
And but you're poised, you could do the same thing. How old are you anyways?
I just turned 41, so
okay.
I'm not ready to do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a buddy that is down the street that owns a mechanic shop, and he's selling his business. And his business is maybe a tenth of mine, and he's trying to get about $1 million. And he's got a broker, and he's working that deal, and he's like already checked out, but the problem is he never kept his books up properly, so I don't think he's gonna have a good time when it comes down to seeing the books and all that. If you can't prove the income, then you're kind of fucked.
Well,
right?
It's not like you might think. When you sell a business, you might have you might be paying a wife to do nothing. You might have a kid that gets getting paid to do nothing. You can factor that in. In other words, you can do the numbers and go, look, if I sell this company, you're not going to need my wife here in the office. You're not going to need my kid that gets paid for not doing very much. Or you know what I mean? I'm just saying you can reason things that you don't need, and so your business becomes a lot more attractive because they can cut all that overhead. You follow me? So it doesn't matter what your business makes. Yeah. It's what your business could make. And so, or will make after you get rid of the dead weight. So he may not be as bad as you think. And listen, seriously, I like you. You should go to flipanythingusa.com, take the mentorship survey, and maybe check out a webinar or fill out the webinar sign up because, look, you're in a great area. I mean, and look at Look at all that. Look at all that vacant land. You got a lot of vacant land around you. You know, there's a lot of opportunities there. You're still growing. Huh.
We're in the weed capital over there, man. Next to my shop, my first location, I got a weed store, and then the one I just bought, there's a weed store next to it. So if you ever want to get high, you know, not that I smoke,
Yeah,
just let you know.
well,
I don't know why, like up there zoned all the marijuana stores in California, man, it's legal. It's all there in that little central industrial area.
There's been weed stores there for 40 years. Yeah.
I just don't know if they're illegal. They are now. So it's just a world, man. I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
If you want to take a look at you think I overpaid for the building? That was my whole first point. I mean,
you did for me, for sure you did. It looks like,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to remember, I have a standard. I don't pay what anything's worth. I mean, I make money on real estate. When I buy something, I consult the next day and make money. Otherwise, I would never have bought it in the first place. And that's my hedge, though. Like you say, the interest rates have gone up, and they're continuing to go up. They're going to keep going up for a while. And so your property will be worth less every time they hike the rates. Your property will be worth a little bit less.
Right.
And, you know, some people think that, oh, no, it's inflation. My building's going up in value. No, it's not. Maybe the cost of construction is going up to build a replacement building, but it doesn't matter. The interest rates are going up, and that's what's crushing you. And so, you know, yeah, I don't like, you know, we justify things so we don't feel as bad about things. That's just human nature, you know, and yeah, you make good money, and I'm sure you'll cover it. But you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? You would rather be in a building that you bought right and made more money, have extra income, you know, and go buy some, you know, go parlay it into other stuff. You know, buy more property that's worth more, and you know, continue to do well. But yeah. So yeah, I would just tell you right now, and I'm because you should. I'm just saying you should. Get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, and read that. And if that, you know, gets you excited a little bit, then get into the, you know, take the webinar or just, you know, just watch the free webinar. I have them every Thursday, or maybe I'll send you a video of one. But it's a no-brainer. And if somebody else wants to call, you can call, by the way. But man, no, I appreciate you sharing. It's a nice, interesting. You know, piece of activity that's going on, and other people can relate to it too, you know. But you built a good-looking business, man. You got a second place, and you're growing, and you know, the last thing you want to do though is live for your mortgage. You know what I mean? If you're spending an extra $3,000 or $4,000 a month on your mortgage, you know, and if you just got a Tesla account, you can justify it for sure, but at the same time, you should just every deal, you know, everything you buy should be a good deal. Everything should be a good deal, and because you'll get ahead. You know, you'll just do better if everything you buy is a good deal. Then you'll just do that much better. But yeah,
I appreciate you taking my call, man. I've watched a lot of your videos. You're very knowledgeable, and I appreciate everything you told me. I'll take it to heart, and hopefully I didn't overpay too much. And if I did, hopefully we can.
No, you're going to be okay. Listen, we're going into a downturn. Listen, we're going into a downturn. Everybody is affected. Everybody's losing money on their property. Everybody's values are going down. You're not alone. You follow me? Yes. So don't take it so hard.
I just don't like buying at the peak, man. Yeah, I just don't like buying at the peak, but I didn't really have any other options. If you really got into what's available and what's for rent, there's just nothing comparable and around the corner from my current location. So I was kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. And
yeah, so maybe you didn't buy at the peak. There's limited resources in your area, so you're probably okay. So, you know, just looking at what I saw, sure. You know, you're not too far off. You're not too bad. So, but. All right. Well, thanks a lot, buddy.
I'll sleep a lot better knowing that, man. Thank you, man. Sure. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Hey, Benjamin Jones, what do you got going there? Yeah, no, listen, anybody else want to call in? That line is gone, and so if anybody wants to call in, let's take a look at what you got. Uh, yeah, so let's go back to the over 40 subject, right? Or over 50, and here's somebody else is calling. Oh, no, no, they're not. I don't want to call them back. That was the guy that just called. I'm learning the phone system here. Uh, Look, the fears that get in the way is I don't want to have to start over, right? You don't want to go, I don't have as much as I want, but I don't want to lose what I have, right? I understand that, and you can understand that at any level. Listen, I don't, I'm a very comfortable guy. I mean, I still spend money, and I buy stuff, and I'm always buying property. In fact, I feel half naked if I don't have something in escrow. I always usually have something in escrow, but I actually bought about $10, $11 million worth of real estate in the last year, and some of it needs work. So I have been taking care of my properties the stuff that I bought most recently, as well as all the other properties that I already own. And so, also, when we're going into kind of like a downturn like this, and this is good advice for anybody in business or otherwise, listen, man, stay really close to your customers, whether it's the body shop guy that just called, and he obviously he knows about business. He's built a good one. You stay close to your customers. You want them. You don't want them to drift away. You don't want them to, you know what I mean? You got to stay close to them. And for anybody, any job, you can only do so much to keep your job. You may lose your job. And believe me, we're in a time right now, people are going to start losing their jobs. There's no doubt about it. If you watch the, Bloomberg, or if you watch any of these business channels, the talking heads that come on, I'm talking about the guests and anything else, the people that represent funds and startup companies, or even established companies, what do? They're always, oh yeah, no, we're not too worried about that. We're optimistic about the future. Yeah, well, they have to be. They can't tell you the truth. They can't tell you, oh shit, we're scared shitless and things we're worried about. I mean, what's that going to do to the people that are watching? You know what I mean? Hey, Robert, glad to see you in here, buddy. Anyways, so it's one of those deals where, look, there's no question we're going down, and the interest rates going up is damaging. It's damaging to the property values. We had a bank go down, right? A big bank go down. They should have never bailed out that bank. They didn't have the insurance. They should have gone down. But these are the things, and this is why I laugh when I see young YouTubers making bold predictions about, stocks in the future. Shit, they don't have any life experience. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And because look, I've been around long enough, I could have a great opinion, but I'm responsible with what I say. And I know you really just can't account for the stupidity of our own government. They pick the winners. Like, they should never have bailed out this bank. Roku got $450 million. They should have lost their ass. And if Roku hadn't been bailed out, that $450 million, what do you think they would have done? They would have started laying off people. And believe me, Roku, like Google, if you look up Google right now, I think the average wage for a Google employee, average wage, in fact, let me just do it because I don't want to lie. The average wage for a Google employee, let me just type it in here. I think it's like 190,000, or maybe it's more than that. Okay, so look at average pay by state for Google. In Texas, 121,000, Colorado, 120,000, Michigan. Okay, now that's not the number that I had been looking at before. Google salary is here. I guess overall it's 134,000. Now look here, Google salaries here, 190. Oh, this is 2023. Okay, so now look at this. Average annual compensation. Do you see this behind me? This is 2023. That other stuff might have been a little bit old. $265,000. $265,000. That's for an employee. Listen, when I was self-employed, back in the 80s and the 90s, I would have loved that my company making $265,000 a year. So it's a whole different world, man. It's a whole different world. And I won't say who, but I got a buddy that's got a daughter that went to that's worked for Google, and she was gone for about 5 years, and anyway, she decided she's going to quit and some things like that. But anyways, and he was always frustrated. Wow, why do you spend $3,000 a month rent? This, that. I thought she was being wasteful with her money. Well, she's got over $400,000 in the bank. Okay, so even with $3,000 a month rent, and young girl, she's managed to save $450,000. So, that give you an idea. The kind of money that gets paid out to an engineer. I don't even know if she's an engineer, to be quite honest, but that's the reality for a lot of those guys. And but that's not the reality for the unskilled person. Believe me, thank God I know real estate, and there is no school that'll teach you what I know. What I can teach about real estate, there is no school. And believe me, I really got a feel for it, that I made really good money when I got into a lawsuit, but more than 10 years ago, and it was frivolous, it was bullshit, and I beat them, but it was still, between me and a couple other guys, we spent over $750,000 on a single lawsuit, and but when the lawyers, kind of got a drift of the kind of money that I made, and these guys they're like, wow. And so, you make good money when a lawyer goes, wow. So, anyways, I just got a kick out of that back then, and then I had lawyers wanting to invest with me and went, hey, we went in on this, we wanted to do, and of course it's the same thing. Listen, the money's in making the deal, finding the money's easy. There's money everywhere, all around you. Look at this. There's Google employees that make $265,000 on average. There's some that make much more. The money's everywhere. You just need to get in between what somebody has and what somebody wants, and you're in the middle, and you can make that money. I've been doing it for many, many years. So what else is happening? Robert, you still there? Maybe you could, I was hoping you might make a little video, Robert, just kind of a quick, show us around what you bought in Portugal. And Robert's actually done extremely well, and just using the book, I almost feel like he's a student in the class. He's done so well. We need to actually probably get you in the class, actually, Robert. We'll account for the dollar differences in Portugal to the USA. We'll adjust it. Anyways, well, that was nice. It was interesting. The gentleman that just called, Sharon. If anybody else wants to call in, this is the time to do it. I'll probably call it quits here pretty soon. That's the number above there. You got a piece of property you want to look at. If you're worried about, money, spending, over 40, over 50, you want to share some of your fears, love to hear it. One of the things I can say, I got a guy that just joined the program, actually just today. My mentorship, which, by the way, I better show you my mentorship here real quick. Flip Anything USA. So if you go into Flip Anything USA, if you got an interest in making money in real estate, believe me, this is the place to be. You'll see I've got this gentleman here. He's got $3 million worth of property, and he's only got $1.3 million of debt. So he's already made $1.7 million, and that's in 18 months of being in the class. He's realized over $1 million in cash that he parlayed into the purchase of the $3.1 million real estate that he has. And like I say, he's got $1.7 million equity. He's making about $150,000 a year on that profit. This guy's bought 3 houses. This gentleman here, he went learn about commercial real estate. He'd already been around a while, and he's not a young guy. He's like me, and but at this time he made $600,000, but he's now since made double that. He's got over $1 million now. This gal, 70,000. This gentleman here, to be honest, I couldn't tell you exactly. But last time I talked to Ron, he had $4 million worth of property, $3 million worth of equity, and plus he pulled cash out. So he's made over $3 million. And he's got like 36 rentals last time I talked to him. Garrett, who's a great guy. Garrett was gracious enough. He sent me a copy of his first check where he made $25,000, and he took part of that money, and guess what? He joined the mentorship. Eric here, over $1 million, and Eric is awesome. I really, really like Eric. He did something that I've never done. He bought a property. He got zero down, nothing down, and zero interest on day one. Every payment went toward the principal, every penny of it. Chris here, he worked for a church. He actually went to college for the ministry. And after being in the mentorship, guess what? He made enough money that he quit. He quit the church, and he now is a complete freelance investor. And he actually just bought a property recently that he got offered $200,000 for a property he just paid $100,000, and which is about twice what he was making at the church. And now the best thing about it is he's bought several properties. He's making more money as an investor than far more, like more than double than he made working for the church. But now he still works for the church, but he works for free now. He does for the church for free now, in a big part what he used to do. He's been to Ukraine 2 or 3 times, giving, that's what the church does. It's what he likes to do. But he's gone back there. He's brought tourniquets and water purifiers, which is something they need in the war zone. So, and Liam here, he's made $550,000, actually a little more than that. Steve here, over $1 million, great guy in Oregon. In fact, he'd made over $1 million, and since then he's bought a house, two houses that I think he's been renovating them for a while. And Kai here, same thing. He's on his way. He's building a huge empire. So Benjamin said, I'm not over 40, but this is great for even younger individuals like myself, relying on a paycheck from a corporation to keep yourself afloat is scary. Well, you're right, Benjamin. So, one of the biggest blessings that I had, to be quite honest, was being poor. My parents divorced. My dad worked at aircraft. He got laid off frequently. They'd get a contract, and politics would cancel it, and then they'd be out of work, and then somebody else would they'd have a new administration. Then they'd build more planes, and these are the things that really affected me. I was like, all my friends went to camp. It was $80. I couldn't go to camp. I think it was $80 for 2 weeks. Family doesn't have it. I ain't going to camp. I remember going over to a kid's house and him opening the refrigerator, and he had like a big square Tupperware, pulled it open, and had every kind of lunch meat: roast beef, smoked turkey, chicken, and all the cool stuff to make a nice meat sandwich. Where if he had come over to my house, we'd have had powdered milk in the fridge, and the closest thing I'd have to a meat sandwich would be 2 pieces of bread and dump some Worcestershire sauce on it, and steak fluid. So I know what it's like to be poor, and it's no fun. And the shitty clothes and the hand-me-downs and the torment that comes with it at school from kids that actually, just aren't so sensitive to your situation. So I laugh because I tell you what I did. I had a great dad, and I have both parents, but I primarily was raised by my father. And, as long as you got love in the house, that's the most important thing. But there sure is a lot of pain that can be inflicted by children when you're in school and you're poor. So anybody want to call in, man, you better do it now. And I don't know what else we could talk about. What I will say about the typical things that come up, and I started taking to my page, right? Oh yeah, the typical things that come up in my page are with students and stuff, or people that want to be students, or people that ask me questions about real estate in general. Is let me get logged in here. The things that come up are fears or preconceived notions. People think that, they might have read some shitty book or listened to somebody that didn't know what they're talking about, and then they think, oh, okay, I've already had a real estate investment class. Like, they think it's generic, like everything is the same. And it's like, yeah, but you haven't had a real class. You haven't talked to somebody that really knows what they're doing. And so, look, I want you to see this. This is over 350 hours. Oh, you can't see it. Let me see if I can get rid of this. Behind me here, let me just show you. This is in the course. This is in my mentorship. These are called the meeting archives. This goes clear back to when I first wrote the book, and people asked me to do a mentorship in 2020. I've almost never missed a Saturday since then. And it's because there is so much to talk about. There is so many deals going on. You guys think that there's not deals in your area, but there's deals in every city in the USA and in every free market in every country. The things that bring about deals are the same. I mean, just take a look at, when you take a look at, and let's go back to Google Earth, right? You see all that real estate. Listen, everything there has been owned by somebody else before you. The home you live in, it may have been through 5 generations. There may have been 5 different families raised there. And the people got old and retired, or got old and died, or got, maybe got a better job and upgraded to a newer home. And then this one, maybe it was a starter home in the beginning. And, but most people live in the home they buy. They buy a home and they'll live in that home for forever. They'll live until they die. Rose wrote, it's a closed one. Looking to partition it up and sell. What are we talking about, Russ? Doing my due diligence. Oh, on what's that? Russ, what are you doing your due diligence on? I'm keeping an eye on the chat here at the same time, but anyhow, I'll go back over to this just for a second. So look, I can go back here. Look, here's 2021. This is an hour and a half class back then. I have no idea what we'll see exactly. I said, I want to be in the backup position. I'd like to make a backup offer. So he said, you're welcome to make a backup offer. He goes, but the offer they got is substantially more than. So what you're listening to. The main thing is you got to. This is me teaching a value and find something under value. And there's 350 hours of this. And this is one Saturday after another. I like, there's economies of scale and everything. So I want to, I want some bigger properties, but it's kind of interesting how it grows, So I just show you this to pop in. What's funny is what I realize is there's a lot of things that I kind of pound in when I talk about stuff. Things that are the most important, like you can never get hurt taking a profit. All right, everybody hear me okay? Here's another one, and so it's cool when I go back here and I look, like Herb here, he came in here bound and determined to make a profit on a property, and that's exactly what he did. He bought a property, and he could have made money on it right away. He's in New York. He's in a place where people presume you can't make money. No matter what, you can't make money. It's just too expensive. And it's not true. And so when people tell me, well, I'd like to get in your course, but I can't afford to buy in the neighborhood I'm in. That's bullshit. That's not true. If you're in an area and you're surrounded by homes, let's just say they're $500,000 or $1 million, whatever, $300,000, maybe you can't afford $300,000. You can afford to pay $150,000 for a $300,000 home. That's the difference, and that's why I say, I'm surrounded by $1 million homes. I can't afford to live here. No, you can't afford to buy $1 million home, but you can afford to buy $1 million home for $600,000, or you certainly can afford to tie it up for $600,000 and let somebody take it off your hands for $800,000-900,000, and you make the delta $300,000. That's the stuff that you can do. Anyways, let me get out of here. But yeah. Anyways, so it's these. There's just so much in here, and we have such a fantastic group, and it's just fantastic camaraderie when you have people that are on your side, all trying to do the same thing. Everybody trying to get ahead, make some money, and many people doing it. It's just there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like real estate. No quicker way to get rich. Okay. All right, Russ, I'm trying to catch up with you. You and Barry, what is the current zoning? I can't keep up with you guys here doing my due. Is this property you got on a golf course? Oh, now I'm catching up here. Russ is trying to change the zoning. Looking at I won't even say the exact acreage because I don't want to tip anybody off, but a 50-plus acre golf course. Oh, to see if you can change the zoning. I can tell you, people love their golf, man. There's a mayor in a certain community, and he's being heavily criticized because he keeps doing things to subsidize the golf course surviving. But he's also a big golfer, so I think he's got a little bit of a conflict there. But Storm Rest Wote, not exactly sure if it's exactly on topic, and I know you're about to wrap up, but I recently went under contract as the seller on 4 vacant lots. I can ask another time. No, go ahead, Storm, go ahead. Why don't you call in? See the phone number above my head? Why don't you call in? Make it easier. Ask away. But congrats if you got them under contract and they're sold. Listen, you should sell right now. Property values are, unless you got a special circumstances, your property values aren't going up. And if you can sell something and realize a profit, these yo-yos that go out there and try to tell you, equity's not important, cash flow is king, like cash flow, cash is shit. That's Grant Cardone. It's so stupid, and it's not true, and they know it's not true. They're after your cash. They're after your cash, and that's the thing with when you have cash, you have so much power. I mean, you have the power. If somebody has a property and things are tight, and there's not a lot of cash flowing, you can buy that asset from them for peanuts. And I've been in that position many times. And when times get tough, like they're about to get very tough, you're like a rock star when you've got the cash. It's just a tremendous amount of power you wield. So Storm, you better throw that question out here quick, please. Either get in the call or type it out. And Russ, what's the EFU mean? Russ is talking about a property. Sounds like a zoning. Oh, exclusive farm use. Yeah, that'll be tough. Yeah, Russ, you got to look out. So Russ has got a property. I had a property that I was looking at buying. It was 800 acres. But it didn't look like you could break it down to anything smaller than a 50-acre parcel, which still wasn't quite conducive to making the money that I'd hoped to make. You will find some areas that are restricted, properties that are restricted, where you can't subdivide them or you can't subdivide them substantially. All right. Anyways, anybody else got anything they want to talk about? Shoot, I'm waiting on Storm here, but I'm running out of time. But I'm glad you got your property sold. That's a big thing. there's just, oh my gosh. And Storm, if you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Something that everybody should be concerned with. I think it's chapter 27, leapfrogging. That is a chapter that, it's worth more than the price of the book. Every page is worth more than the price of the book, to be quite honest. But anyways, well, I appreciate everybody hanging out, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And it's been fun. I appreciate the call in, and we'll see y'all later. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central.